So take you through a little bit of a history for those that don't know Noah Syndegaard. When he first came onto the scene, he was traded from Toronto for R.A. Dickey.
Yeah.
Came over to the Mets, threw $1 billion, literally, was the hardest throwing starting pitcher. Well, here we go. Let's get right to it. So when he first came onto the scene, this was Noah Syndegaard. 97.5 miles an hour. You could see whiff rates, everything basically a lot better. Here's the one thing that I wanted to really accentuate here was the highest in Major League Baseball from 15 to 16, minimum 1,000 pitches. So here's a guy that has the presence, the bravado, and the stature of saying, I throw 97 to 102 miles an hour, 101 miles an hour.
Alcides Escobar over your head.
In the World Series, 2015, threw it over. So he still does, but the swagger of that, right? I'm packing the Nolan Ryan 100-mile-an-hour fastball. So what happens? He had surgery in 2020. You were talking about the block with Franco. This is 2020, 21. It's over 2 years since the Tommy John surgery of Noah Syndergaard. Was given an offer in the winter, a qualifying offer. The Angels gave him a better deal, so he goes to California.
Huge deal.
Anaheim. This is what he was, folks, at 98 to 100.
Now.
Yeah, I mean, he threw 4 seamers, 2 seamers, slider, occasional curve, and changeup. But this is what he was. And then he came back, if you remember, in the 20, and he had a couple innings, struck out a couple guys. Yes, the Tommy John. 96, he showed. Now, this was just like they were wondering, okay, what is he? And do we do something with respect to make an offer? He signs with Anaheim, or California, Los Angeles Angels, and goes out to Anaheim, and here he is. His fastball velocity off by 3 or 4 miles an hour, if you watch here. Delivery-wise, the same. But you're not getting as much velocity. Good changeup. He always had a nice changeup. Slider curve. Gets traded to the Phillies. He's only had 3 starts, so this is his 4th start. He was supposed to. They gave him an extra day by pitching tonight. Big curveball. You're watching what he does now. Fastball at 92. Stop right here, Lucas, just to let me catch up. So what happens when your mindset as a guy that you know you have a 45 and you could blow it by anybody? This is an interesting quandary for me when you watch a guy like Noah Syndergaard, who basically just stood there and said, no slider, no curveball, no, and it's a fastball. Wah! And he could blow it by guys, maybe a foul ball, foul tip, and then get through it. He's striking in his career. He struck out more strikeouts than innings, and now he's got like 76 strikeouts in 98 innings. So he's got less, right? So you have to pitch. But here, what I look for is the mindset of Noah Syndergaard. That when you know you were able to do such things, of just saying, nah, I'm not going to do that. Here, this is right down the middle.
Do you feel like, because I feel like even with the Mets, even when he had that huge, I still thought he had a feel for pitching. I didn't feel like he was just a guy out there just, whatever happens, happens. He can dot it a little bit.
He could utilize 2 fastballs, and he always had the force. The 4-seamer was one across the seams, and this is the true ride carry that rides through the zone. So that's your straight fastball. Then he would throw a lot of 2go-seamers, which is the one that would run into the righty. You know, as a lefty, the grip here, and it goes this way. The right-hander, 2-seamer, the ball will go out toward the right-handed batter, as we just talked about in the Noah. So, yes, I think when you say that, his mindset, anytime I see a guy that throws 97 to 100 miles an hour, at the last second, you're not thinking about Greg Maddux or Tommy Glavine, guys that you played with, where I better paintbrush and I better not miss. Your last instinct is, and yeah, I have an idea. And I got a catcher set up here and I got a 2-seamer. I want it somewhere over here. But my last thing is not like I have the paintbrush out. No, I'm letting it go. Yeah. And then the 4-seamer away here especially. So 2 sides of the plate. So go ahead and play it, Lucas. You just watch Noah with a lot of different pitches. Nice slider, good speed differential from the 94 to the 86, 87 mile an hour. The curveball, stop right there. So this is a pitch that historically he has not thrown. So I'm already seeing in his brain. You get with your catcher, in this case, Real Muto, whomever. Yeah. All right, look, you're not throwing 99 to 100. You average 94 miles an hour. But guess what? I could give you a list of dominant pitchers that throw 94. And I'm just, as somebody who had 2 shoulder surgeries, and yes, I used to throw harder prior to my surgery, it's your brain that you have to say, I can still dominate. I could dominate with this. I might have to do it a little differently with respect to 3 secondary pitches as opposed to 1.5, as he did mostly with slider changeup. Go ahead, play it. So I wanted to show basically what he has to do with how you set up a guy. Fastball inside right here to Almora Jr. Another fastball inside, two seamers. So 95-95, slider paint, didn't get it. Really good pitch. Check this out. We go 2-1, now 3-1 slider to get him to 3-1. That's an aggressive two-seam fastball, and then he throws a 3-2 slider right down the middle. That combination of knowing that, okay, I'm not going to, now years past, perhaps it would have been the 100 down the middle. All right, give me a chance here. So if you look at this, the biggest thing right here, DeRo, is your four-seam fastball, which is your truest, fastest, straightest throw.
Yeah, he's gotten away from it because a 95 flat in the middle of the zone, four seams getting pounded.
Slider usage up. So you knew that there was going to be some sort of repertoire formula change, right? More changeup, so it makes sense. So you have two-seam fastball, getting away from the riding fastball, and then the slider, righty, mostly righty, changeup, lefty.
Big.
Changeup is kind of a nominal pitch. 100 pitches, just go based on 100. You got 10 of them. You're going to pick your spot of probably like a get-me-over first pitch curveball. But I wanted to show it, and I really want to accentuate, 94 is still a good fastball. It's an above-average major league fastball. Does he have the mindset to stand on the mound like the gunslinger that he is and was, and still feel like, you know, with the confidence that rolls with a guy that is down about 3.5 miles an hour from his average velocity?
You know, it's funny, Al, when I watch him pitch, and I say this about a few different guys that I've played behind. Tim Lincecum comes to mind. Yeah. When I would play behind, all their off-speed stuff kind of morphs in. Bumgarner, same thing. It all morphs into looking identical to each other. Like his changeup looks like his slider, looks like his get-me-over curveball, looks like he just gets you in swing mode where you start thinking, I can almost hit everything. And then if he's just missing a little bit off, there's the grounder to short, and you're like, what the?
Yeah. So I think what he has identified.
Nice pickup for them.
Yeah. And I think I think the Angels picked up a pretty big chunk of what was owed.
Yeah.
So it was really kind of that deal. I am curious. Here he is in Philadelphia, 90 miles south of New York. I mean, he came on with the Mets. Thor was an all-star. All of that stuff that went on with him, with you know, the hammer and the shield and all that other stuff. So we'll see. We'll see how it comes out in the stretch. And the Phillies are really, really an interesting team.
That was a tough loss yesterday.
Yeah, it was.
Woo.